Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. And tonight is one of our special Saturday nights, which is Those Dark Places. A happy, joyful romp, much like a rom-com, if you will, or maybe sort of a childish, pranky comedy, where a hapless band of crewmates just sort of galumph around the universe, having wacky and fun adventures together. So thank you. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you settle down for all the laughs and joy that there could be in such an adventure. If you are one of our regulars, hello. We love you, of course. We love having you around, and we appreciate your chat and you joining in, and just the fact that you keep coming back. Quite frankly, you're all gluttons for punishment, and we love that about you most of all. If it's your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. As we always say, there's so much stuff online to choose from. So just to have someone's eyes for a couple of minutes is quite frankly astonishing. So thank you for giving us your eyes. Not physically, although that might happen in the game if it gets quite brutal later. Thank you for, giving us your eyes just for a few minutes, if nothing else. If you're not aware of it, if you click the red sun on your screen, there's ways to spend points. Those that are used to Fridays will notice some things on Fridays aren't available. It's not fitting for a Saturday, but there's still plenty there. Our drink to that is definitely always there, in case you want to drink to something. One credit for those, it's a nice thing that anyone can get involved in. I recommend hashtag Evan is watching you if you want to upset Ben at any point. I misread that. I really thought that Ewan had stand himself then. Yes, so there's an example. Really fits with the mood. We stand for Ewan, but we do stand for Ewan. Yes, indeed. So there's lots of options there. Ben's beard is growing back as we were talking before we started this, so I feel
it's grown back as we were talking.
Like those cartoons.
It's quick.
Very fast. And we were very upset that Gilly had let down the beard team tonight, but
I'm trying, guys.
Try harder. By next episode, I expect a decent chin's worth.
Okay.
Okay, good. As long as you try, that's the main thing. Right, so who are we? My name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner. Tonight, I am the master of the story. He uses the word master very loosely, but I'll be trying what I can to guide these hapless guys through. Speaking of hapless guys, the person next to me, the smartest man in any room, the smartest man in any spaceship. I'd say like the most cynical man in any spaceship. And the man that when he's not in a spaceship spends his whole time in the Twin Peaks dream room. It is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you this evening?
I'm well, thank you. Very well. Yes, looking forward to this. Always fun to be a player.
Yeah, exactly. It's a joy. It's lovely when Ben plays. I'm sure everyone in chat will agree. Ben is a magnificent, and I'm allowed to say that because it's him, a magnificent games master / referee with a lovely voice and great planning. But it's a joy when he plays. So, speaking of playing, who are you playing as tonight, Ben?
Well, if you look up at the top of the screen, top right, I'm playing Misha Renkov, who is modelled clearly on myself, only slightly more clean-shaven and not quite as handsome.
Oh, my camera's falling. Keep talking.
He has, well, as the caption suggests, he has engineering and science skills, and he is in fact an engineering officer and to an extent science officer, so it kind of fits.
It does fit. If the cap fits, as I always tell myself. Exactly.
He is quite strong and completely lacks any sense of self-awareness or charisma.
Oh, so that's where it's quite different to you, really.
Not that different. No, not really. I feel like I'm playing to my strengths here.
And you've done well so far. You've definitely been playing a strong game, I'd say. Two across is my regular friend and comrade. It is the man with the noob poningest headphones in the galaxy. It is Ewan. Good evening, Ewan.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you today?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, thanks. after last night's traumatic events. I'm looking forward to a nice, peaceful, cozy, warm, heartfelt game in space where nothing will ever go wrong.
What can happen in space? It's a big empty expanse, isn't it?
Exactly.
Cool. So who are you leading through this big empty expanse of joy and happiness?
I am playing Liam Deturi, who is in fact the top left along the bar, and the ship's liaison officer with a little bit of skill in science officer, and he's left-handed, which we've established for some. Can't remember how it came up. I'm sure someone asked.
All your characters are left-handed, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. Because I like an underdog, or the lesser represented of the two hands. Maybe more than two in space. I don't know. I'm sure there are some alien species out there with who could be middle-handed.
Middle-handed. Oh, no.
Middle-handed, possibly.
Maybe.
A terrible thought. Well, yes, he is. The thing we know most about Liam is that he's left-handed. So make a note of that, anyone, in case Ewan messes up, and we can all point our left hands at him and remind him.
Very likely.
The last one here today is our honorary boy for the night. She is a beloved friend of the show who has shown her patience and her ingenuity time and time again. She comes prepared always with a good background. Today, a spectacular one, quite frankly. It's like she's been cut loose from the ship and left to float out there by herself. Obviously, messing around too much on those stilts. It's Gilly. How you doing, Gilly?
Hi, I'm better for seeing all you beautiful beings.
Yo.
Go.
And Gilly's having eye problems this evening, which is very upsetting. So hopefully, who are you playing as tonight? Who have you been playing as for months now?
I am playing Shay Hawkins, who is Helm Officer Extraordinaire and lover of orange stilts.
She's a lover of orange stilts and a fellow ginger.
A fellow ginger, yeah.
Which I appreciate very much so. And she hasn't been home for many years, unfortunately. She's not been back to Shay, has she?
No, it's been some time. Hey ho.
She's got a new home now with this beautiful crew.
A home from home.
Home from home.
And they get all my coffee made for me, so bonus.
Has Shay actually made her own mug of coffee yet?
No, I don't think she has. I don't think she intends to. It's just she's one of them. Oh, if you're making one, go on then.
She'll sit there for an hour and a half with a parched mouth, but refuse to get up and get it. Yeah. Yes, classic Shay. So anyway, dear viewers and dear players, it's been 6 weeks or so, I think. So let's start with a catch up, and I guess we'll go from there, if that's okay with everyone. So settle down, and let us begin. I've even got it written down. I'll take this from Ben, you see. What do you get if you cross a security officer who accidentally shoots his own crewmate, an android with an unhealthy interest in a particular human, a man who manages to bump his head or slip over any possible opportunity, a woman whose first love is a pair of brightly coloured plant pot stilts, a jar full of brown kiwi flavoured lollipops, an engineering officer with a dislike for nearly half the crew, and a required 25 years service working for Mega Corporation Maitland on a junky old ship in the cold, lethal brutality of space. Well, if you're Navigation Officer Carla Munro, you get the need for a stiff drink and the bliss of your own crew leaving the ship to give you just a few quiet minutes to yourself to sit back and consider eternity. I'm just going to click to last week so we remember. Where's that little ship gone? It was the Argent, wasn't it? No, it's not the Argent. That would give everything away. There.
The Nakura?
Yeah. The Algernon. That was where you went
that
last
one.
time.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is where the crew went last time on a mission to find 3 engineers to bring home. The problem is, for Kyla Munro, trying to sit back and consider eternity, within minutes, SAM, Sam, that's Android to you and me, Evan, was back on the ship with a large hole accidentally blown in his leg by security officer Eddie Clarkson. Then, minutes later, a message through that there were trails of blood down the one remaining corridor of the decommissioned space station Algernon, which half of that blood was already up the trouser legs of Liam and Misha after some pratfalling and an inability to stay on their feet. The Nakuru, of course, had been tasked with making contact to pick up the 3-man engineering team on board. Munro's peace, and quite frankly nerves, were shaken even more when it was reported back that the 3 engineers, Lucas Bautista, Rosa Manuela, and Will Williams, were all missing, gone without personal belongings or finishing their own mission. Finally, after the rest of the crew made it back across the umbilical onto the Nakuru, Munro's nerves were finally shattered as her monitor flashed up another ship in orbit around this vast, dead planet. But not just any ship, an impossible ship. A long-forgotten, impossible ship. A long-forgotten, impossible ship that was just coming into visual range. The Argent 3. So with the crew coming through the airlock, the lights flashing up at the front of ship, and Kyla Munro visibly shaking. That's where we shall begin tonight. Let me load up the Nakuru there. So welcome back to the Nakuru, everyone. You are on board. And Kyla Munro would like to see you, if that's okay.
Yes.
And she's up there.
Yeah. Yes, I'll do the sort of usual check everyone's in safely before we cycle the lock and then get ourselves out into the ship. But I guess it's kind of buddy system, isn't it? And we're all together.
Yeah, for sure. Just double checking each other over. I'll tell you what, for those that are watching for the first time, let's practice a roll to get back into things, shall we? So we know what we're doing as your buddy systeming. Misha, as it was you, who do you want to help out of their suit in your buddy system?
I feel like that's a trick question. We're going to try for Shay, please.
Okay. Oh no, poor Shay. Okay, so we're running example 3. So those viewers sort of get an idea of how it works. It's a 2d6 system, a 1d6 system, not even a 2d6, where they'll add their certain skills and we'll need to hit a certain certain total. An 8 is generally a regular required roll. A 7 will be classed as a partial success, and a 1-6 is a fail. You can have an easier task where you're going to have to hit a 7, or a harder task where you have to hit a 9, basically. You've done this getting out of spacesuits many times in the last 2 days. Not many times before that, but you're getting quite used to it. So it's going to be a 7 to succeed fully, if that's okay, Ben.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to be your agility, I would say.
Okay.
So,
and can I have my engineering officer skill with this?
No.
All I need's a fulcrum.
Yeah. Just stand there, twice as far away from the point as I am.
Okay.
No, you can't. Not for a space. Your engineering skills are not in the realm of spacesuits, I'm afraid.
Okay.
You're not Garak from Deep Space Nine. Go on.
Okay, that's a 3 + 2 is 5.
2 + 2 is 5. So as you sort of yank around at the suit, sort of trying to help her out, I don't know. If Shay's seemed to have a look on her face that she didn't even need the help, but buddy system and all. As Shay's sort of getting the sleeve off, you're almost like putting it back on accidentally, and so it's a bit of a kerfuffle. At one point, you sort of Shay knocking backwards, sort of a bit unbalanced. As Misha's sort of tugging on one leg. Come on, I'll get. Lift your foot. Like you're a 6-year-old. Lift your foot. So, Shay, I'd like a practice roll from you. I say practice. You could die with this if you land badly.
Oh no.
I did say I was completely on the edge of your seat early. What is your agility, Shay?
It is 4.
4. Okay, so could you roll a dice and add it to the 4, please? At least we've got one agile person.
Ooh, I've rolled a 6. That's 10.
Oh, nice. As Misha sort of forces Shay's foot up, she shows the gracefulness of someone who is adept on stilts, who has a high level of agility, and she sort of hangs there, almost like Daniel at the end of Karate Kid. And it's effortless, and she almost like jumps between feet to allow the other leg to be pulled out as well. It's like a moment where both feet are off the ground almost. As they sort of, it is very graceful. Very great. Even Eddie Clarkson has to shrug with a, yeah, that was pretty good.
I'll win him over. I will.
You'll be the first one to, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I feel that's the best we're going to get from him, to be fair.
Sadly, a 4 + 6 is pretty much the best we might get from Shay tonight as well.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here.
Okay, Liam, let's do one for you then, I guess, just to get you back into the run of things. We know that Liam has a habit of getting knocked on the head by things. As Misha goes bundling forward, he sort of forces Liam back against a wall where a small box is dislodged above his head and falls towards him. Could you roll your agility, please, Liam?
I certainly can. Well, that's a 1. Luckily, my agility is also 1. So they're matching, which is what we're going for, right? Matching numbers.
And you're going to have matching bumps on your head, unfortunately, because it does land flush just as you've removed your helmet. On the opposite side of the forehead to your carefully sort of looked after, cleaned up, and was it plastered last week even? I can't remember. I think it might have been. But it's a perfect,
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But it is a perfect companion piece. It's not profusely bleeding. A little bit of ooze.
Oh, son of a! What's in the box? Can I see what's in the box?
What's in the box?
We've gone there already.
You open the box and it's full of some half a dozen spare. You know the cables that you connect onto to go for your spacewalks to move around. It's got half a dozen replacements of those.
I could have done with those last time. Okay, I'll pick them up and put them back in the box and tidy it back onto the shelf. I'll make sure I push it all the way back on the shelf. Obviously, I don't want it falling off on someone else.
And what are the chances of it happening twice? What are the chances of it happening twice? Right. Okay. Cool. So suits are off. Not too much damage done. Clarkson mumbles something about getting the shotgun reloaded, and he hurries off in front of you. You would guess to security, but he's round that corner before you get out.
Okay. And I'm not wild about this guy being armed, you understand, but hey, shrug shoulders. and once obviously the hatch is open, if he's heading off that way, we'll head to the bridge if you don't mind. Go and find Carla.
Cool. Everyone happy for that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you enter the bridge to see a visibly sort of white-faced Carla Munro turn around to you, and there's sort of some too many lights, almost like a Christmas tree amount of lights flashing on the dashboard and around on a couple of the computer screens. And she's a bit wild-eyed, and she turns around and she looks at the three of you, and she's about to say something, and she notices Liam's forehead. He said, "What's happened to you? Are you all right? I thought you weren't injured over on the space station."
No, I wasn't. I'm fine. I'm fine now. I felt a bit uneven, but now I'm, I feel much more aligned, I guess.
Says, well, okay, that's enough. Yeah. But I've got more important news than this. Man. Come over here. And she pulls you over to one of the computer screens. It says, have any of you ever heard of the Argent 3?
No.
Have I ever heard of the Argent 3, Luke?
No, you haven't heard of the Argent 3.
I figured.
There's something that makes me think that's only half of it, like Argent 3, Fulham 0. I don't know. No, it doesn't ring a bell. Sorry.
Carla frowns at you. Okay. Man, I don't know where to begin. This, I don't know much about it, but you know, like ghost stories where if you don't go to bed on time, your mum tells you like this creature's going to come and get you in your sleep or something. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you don't eat up all your fruit flavored protein cubes, you know, someone will come and tear out your nose hair or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the Argent 3's like that. Not that it's going to come and get you, but it's whispered terms about what can go wrong in space. Right. This is a ship. It's not been heard of for 100 years. And it's there. She's pointing at the monitor. It's here. It's impossible.
What was the last official record 100 years ago?
I don't know. I've typed through to Maitland immediately, you know, following procedure. And they said they're going to get back to us with it. It's theirs. It's their ship. Oh, no, it's their ship. 100 years ago. But something big, like, again, it's all, you know, 100 years, it's words within words passed down over years, you know. But I just said that it went missing. You know, like the Marie Celeste or the old Bermuda Triangle they used to talk about, you know, years and years ago, just like that. Never seen again.
And follow me here, maybe it's our ship.
Our ship?
Well, it's got to have like expired on its insurance by now, right? They can't claim it 100 years later.
Oh, you mean like claim salvage on it?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out, man. That's got to be worth a lot, though, isn't it? If it's the ship, 100-year-old ship.
100-year-old ship with a haunting ghost story behind it. There'll be loads of rich people after something like that.
Yeah.
The theme park. Yeah, man. I know. We're here through. Evan, have you heard? She sort of radios through. Evan, have you heard through from Maitland yet? So there's a crackle, and then Evan comes through. I haven't. They said they'll be in touch with me briefly. Are all of you okay? Did you all get back fine?
Yes.
You're okay. What? You're okay. You're okay, Misha. You're okay.
Yes, yes, I'm fine.
Good.
I don't think I helped Liam to avoid banging his head again, but we're basically intact.
Liam's got a big target, I suppose.
And to be fair, we've got a whole new spaceship which he hasn't banged his head on once yet. So.
Yes, the Argent 3. Do you know it was one of Maitland's very first long-range exploration vessels?
Have you got any stats on it in your memory banks, Evan?
Very little. I know it was commissioned for 30 years, decommissioned 100 years ago, and it was a long-range exploration vessel using technology that isn't used anymore. You know, like early to get to the stars, as you humans would say. You know.
Do you know the last captain?
Let me just run through. You'll understand my own personal knowledge is limited before Maitland get in touch. Let me just run through. Bear with me a second. Yes, I do. Her name was Angela Fisher. She was 53 years old at the time of decommissioning, as it should have been
100 years ago.
100 years ago. I assume she's dead by now. Exemplary record. That's all it says. She hit 115% success rate in her missions, which is very high.
And clearly not entirely accurate.
Well, if you do something correct, if you complete a mission fully, you get 100%. If you complete it more to get your bonus, you can exceed 100% success.
Yeah, but I'm guessing she wasn't supposed to vanish with an entire ship.
He said, sort of a pause. He says, "Good point, Renkov. Good point. You make good points, Renkov." No, that's why it was always assumed that something had gone wrong, because she had an exemplary record to that point.
Okay. Do we have any idea how many crew was supposed to be on board?
He sort of runs it through the databanks again. The Argent 3 officially was manned during its last mission by, he sort of pauses, flicks through, 115. A crew of 115.
Okay.
And part of its crew, it was carrying a complement of explorers, waymakers, and so on. There was another 40 people on board on top of that.
Okay.
Terraformers. There was a lot of terraforming attempts back then, before they started realizing that most planets weren't terraformable.
I'm with you. Okay.
Can just return to Manuel and said, have you hailed them yet? Have you tried to make contact?
We're just outside of hailing frequency. They have old. We should be, but I'm assuming it's the old technology. We'd need to be close. We don't have visual range yet. I'd assume we'd need to be within range to hail with an old ship. But it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Carla, have you got electronic communication with the Argent 3?
Electronic communication.
Has our ship been exchanging automated messages or anything with the Argent 3?
Our ship naturally pings out when it's in within a certain distance with other Maitland ships. If there was any other Maitland ship in the system that was commissioned, we would know about it. This one, of course, obviously that's been switched off, but it is still processed for the Nakuru to send out pings to potentially friendly ships. So it has been. I can check to see if we've had anything back if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, I'm going to need to roll for this. Let's see what her thing is. She sort of taps a few keys. Sort of seems to bring up something. You get the old green text sort of scrolling past quite quickly, which especially to Shay and Liam's eyes, it's just a stream of numbers and letters and hashtags, really. Misha sort of recognises a couple of things in it, that it is some sort of one-way communication. It finishes scrolling. It says, yeah, we have been. There's been absolutely nothing back. Absolute silence at that end. But that's not surprising, what with their lack of, the old technology.
And you say the ship's not technically in visual range yet?
Not yet.
So, I mean, just a question that you can feel free to just glare at me for asking, but how did you know which ship it was? If it's not sending out any message and you can't see it, how do you know it's the Argent 3?
The Argent 3 came through not in a message, but in some strange coded, like a coded burst that bounced off the planet and up. It's different to what we would communicate with now. Almost like a distress beacon, if that makes sense. But nothing that you can communicate back with, just something that would go on. But we only got it once, and that was it. We've had all this communication one way and just that one thing.
And it identified itself as the Argent 3?
Argent 3.
Okay.
It was just process Argent 3, Maitland Corporation.
Well, it's good to know the company's got some heritage, I suppose.
Oh, more than you and I would ever know. We are very much the latest pawns.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As she sort of goes to turn back to the screen, you get hailed by Evan again. This is Evan. I've just heard back from Maitland. If you'd be willing to join me in Security Bay, where I'm currently recuperating. We've been given our orders.
Well, absolutely.
All right then.
Yeah, it's a good time for Evan. It's like he's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Yeah. On the subject of nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah. You were told about if you didn't go to bed in time, a slightly leery SAM would drag you out of your bed and sing songs to you from a bit too close. And that was it. Okay, so you guys happy to go then? Was that an okay then from you, Ben?
Yep.
Liam, Shay?
Yep.
Okay. So as you enter security, Clarkson is sat at his desk, fiddling with the shotgun load. He's got the shotgun out. He's got the two pistols out. You have two pistols on the ship as well. Of course, you guys just have the tasers. So those are the only three firearms on the ship. He's got them out, sort of cleaning them, making sure that would seem to be protocol. Every time one is used, you work through all of them, make sure they're ready to go for the next time. Evan is in, if you look in the picture just to the south of where it says the S of security, that's kind of like his chamber. And he is sort of suspended back in it at sort of a 30-degree angle in the pod. Naked apart from some shorts, a bit like cycling shorts, I guess. He's got a scanner, is moving around the edge of the pod, sort of checking him out, making sure his vitals are correct. And it seems to be, one of the scanners seems to be focusing on the damaged leg. There's sort of a strange sort of slushy, gooey substance being sort of knitted into his lower leg, which a lot of white liquid sort of seeping out from around the edge of it. That work's been done.
Oh, good. That's much less creepy.
It is. As you enter, he looks up and he says, "Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry you have to see me like this. I'm sorry, Misha. This, unfortunately, this does an excellent job at fixing me as needed. Unfortunately, it's not set up for humans. It would really, you would all love it, but unfortunately, you have to make do with the kiwi flavoured lollipops and plasters in medical, of course. Not, although how I wish to have to use medical like you. You understand. Please find a leaning point or a seat or something.
Sure. I'll lean against the wall in the far corner from the pod.
Are you Renkov? Well, in the top left.
Yep.
Renkov, be careful you don't block the exit. It goes against ship policy.
Sure.
As he's sort of saying that, he sort of almost pauses halfway through the conversation. And you know, like before, when he sort of goes that sort of glassy-eyed look where we've had it where Maitland take over and talk through him. It's that his demeanour changes. Not that he was human before, and any friendliness is very much an automated attempt at friendliness. Just programming and circuits, of course. He becomes very rigid, and not just because Renkov's here. And he sort of stares into nothingness. This is the Maitland Corporation. Nakuru, can you hear us?
We can.
Is that the liaison officer?
It is indeed. Liam Deteri.
Thank you, Liam Deteri. These are your orders. As you will now know, you are in close proximity to a ship called the Argent 3. You are to close in on the ship. You are to board the ship. And you are to claim salvage rights for the Maitland Corporations by placing a salvage beacon in the engine room. Is this clear so far?
Yes.
If you are able to do this, you will be paid double the fee you will have received for recovering Bautista, Manuela, and Williams. So if you can achieve this, you will receive 6 months bonus. The ship is old, but it is incredibly valuable to Maitland, as you can imagine. Are there any questions?
I have one. Do you have deck plans for the ship that you can send to us? If we're to find the engine room.
We do have deck plans. They will be sent to Munro and to the computer at on the bridge as soon as this conversation is over, which you can peruse at your leisure. You have to understand these are deck plans from 100 years ago.
Of course. Anyone else? And he'll look around the room.
Yeah, I'd like to know the technology used in the engines, please. I understand it's a bit different to the kind we use today. So I'd like to know if we're walking into, irradiated hotspots or engines fueled entirely by clowns.
You'll be pleased to hear that no clowns were used.
That is a relief.
But you'll be unhappy to hear that no clowns were harmed during the making of the Argent 3. It is an older style power supply. There is the potential of, theoretically, radiation. If everything is working correctly, the chance of that is minimal, but it is worth urging on the side of caution. The suits that you have should protect you from all but the worst kind of leak.
Thank you. You got anything, Shay?
Nope. I suppose let's just get within range and see what's going on.
Excellent. If that is all, I shall return control of the SAM. And good luck, and please be in contact when you have planted the beacon. And then there's a sort of almost an audible click, and then Evan's body sort of relaxes forward a little bit, and his eyes sort of roll back to normal. And he sort of looks at you all and says, I'm afraid it appears I will not be able to join you on your latest adventure. I still have some hours left to fix.
Oh no, that's tragic. Misha will be so upset.
Evan looks at Shay, sort of tweaks his head to the side a little bit, and says, "Rankov will be upset."
Oh yeah, he'll be heartbroken.
Evan sort of turns and looks at Rankov and says, "It's okay, Rankov. I will be with you in spirit. Good luck."
Yay.
Okay. And with that, Evan his head sort of almost visibly drops, where he's sort of going back into, as the machines redouble their blipping around him, sort of sorting him out.
Did you say Clarkson was in the room?
Clarkson is in the room, yes.
Can I just say to him, salvage beacon? I assume we've got one.
Yeah, we got a few. It's regular practice to carry a few in the cargo bay. Just in case. Maitland love salvage rights. It's easy money, you know. Send us in there, chuck a beacon on there, and they've got mega credits here, there, and everywhere coming out of their behinds, you know.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks. And I guess we're moving in on the ship, right? We've got a dock. Can we dock? So maybe I should have asked that. Can we dock with an older ship? Classy. You know your ships.
I don't know this one too well. It might be worth looking at the deck plans. Who knows? Might give you an idea. Munro's more likely to know. She's the navigator.
Okay, we'll speak to Munro. Thanks.
You accompanying us at all?
It is standard procedure for the security officer to accompany you. I feel that in this circumstance, these pistols are available if anyone feels they have the ability to use them. Just beware that firing inside a compressed spaceship area or anything like that is not always the wisest choice.
Safety on, got it.
Safety on. Yeah, not safety always off. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Now I seem to remember we kind of sucked at shooting handguns. Is that an agility check or
handguns is down to agility? Yeah. If you want to be shooting, you need good agility.
You sure it's not charisma?
Well, if you point them sideways and wink as you do it, then it's definitely charisma. Yeah.
I mean,
if you're making witty comments,
I feel very strongly I should be unarmed because my agility is not what you'd call huge.
No, neither is mine. Unless I can, persuade monsters to liaise with my bullets. It's probably not going to work out very well. But we might as well take them, I suppose.
Yeah.
In a pinch.
Clarkson sort of looks Shay up and down, and sort of remembers back to her efforts in the airlock recently. And he gives you a nod and hands you. He hands you a pistol.
Serious.
He hands you a pistol and a holster to go with it, and he says, "I think you can handle yourself. You've fired one of these before, haven't you?"
Yeah. Many a time.
Many a time.
Many a time.
Are you talking just about training?
Yeah. I wanted to sound a bit more confident than I perhaps am.
No, that's okay. You'll be fine. Just don't do anything silly with it. And so so he hands you over the pistol with the holster which will fit around the outside of a suit. It's sort of a nice sort of webbing really that will fit around.
I'll try not to shoot anyone in the leg, Sam or otherwise.
Clarkson, who'd sort of almost, his face had almost softened to you, hardens again and turns back to the shotgun. He says, "I'll see you in the airlock when we're alongside."
Right, Liam, you want to take the other handgun?
I mean, I feel the kickback would only knock me in the head and cause more injury. If you want it, you're welcome. You're welcome to it.
All right, then I will take it. I'm not what you call brilliant with them, but it's better to have it than not, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Excellent.
I'll shall I suppose if you guys are carrying, shall I go and grab a beacon?
Yeah, that
You
sounds
don't
like
want
a
to
good
have your
idea.
hands full with that and have to shoot something.
Yeah.
I guess.
And I'm guessing Shay will be useful when we're chasing in towards the ship, and I'll probably get on the console on the bridge and see what I can scan for while you're doing that.
Okay.
It worked well last time, to be fair, as a team.
Indeed. So I head to cargo and try and find beacon class. And what do they look like?
He says, they're not small. You know the size of old sort of ammo crates. That sort of quite a chunky cuboid shape, about a foot, 2 foot long.
Okay.
Look for that. It will say beacon on it in block white letters.
Perfect. Thanks. And I'll go look for one of those and drop it off at the airlock, I suppose.
Okie dokie. When you assume you'll find it easily. Let's put it that way. You know where it is. But I'd like you to make a roll, please. Could you roll on strength for me, please?
Yes. That's a 4 plus 3 is a 7.
Okay. You lift it, and the way the handle works, the handle's at the. If you've got the cuboid, the handle's on the one of the smaller square sides at one end, so it's carryable.
Yeah.
But it is, to use D&D sort of terms, you wouldn't be over encumbered with it, but you would not be moving at full pace while carrying it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to take me longer.
Walking rather than running. Yeah, walking rather than running.
Okay, cool. And then I guess I'll just drag it down to the airlock. And depending on how long we're talking, I'll give it a couple of minutes and then start walking back up to the front of ship with everyone else.
Fantastic. So you guys off to the front of ship?
Yes. Yeah, I figure as we get closer, I'll try and run a scan on the Argent as we approach it.
Yeah.
See what I can pick up with our sensors.
Fantastic. That sounds good. So as you approach the front of ship, Munro is there, of course, back at her console, tapping away. She's sort of had the thing ping through to her, so she's got a bit more to work with, I guess. And she smiles at Shay and says, "Are you here to take us in?"
I am.
I always feel confident when you're sat there.
At least someone does.
You didn't kill us last time.
Well, that's true. But there's still time.
I would say the night's still young, but She looks out the window. It's always night out here. And she sighs. Finishes the rest of her coffee. And she goes back to her screen. Slightly melancholically. Okay. So how do you want to go about this? I sounded a bit critical all there. How do you want to go about this?
Have we got the ship plans yet?
Carla punches through. We do. We've got. Let me flick it up for you. We've got. I won't call it partial ship plans. I've got the full, but a lot of it appears to be habitation space and storage space and hangars and things for sort of. The idea was the ship was explorative, of course. So the main areas I will load up for you, which is there. So to the south of it, you have the pressurized umbilical, which is pressurized from other ships, so you can go straight through it, and you sort of the pressurization changes within it, and then you go straight out into the corridors.
Okay.
You've got an emergency airlock, which is sort of more what you'd be used to, I guess, nowadays. And then you've got 2 long sleep. They're large though. The scale is much larger than we are used to. There was a lot of people on board.
Okay.
All right.
And that is the front of ship, looking from, well, it's the bridge from right to left.
Yeah. Recycling center sounds incredibly ominous.
It was how they used to go about. These guys were making trips lasting decades. There's a lot to recycle, I would assume.
Yeah, they're dead. Yeah, it looks as if there's a hatch into engineering just one corridor along from the emergency airlock. If I'm reading that right.
Yep, that appears to be what that is. All those grey, from what I can tell, all those grey bits do appear to be the doorway. Remember, these are 100 years old schematics. I have no idea. Plans. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, they might have redecorated.
You'd hope so. I can only imagine what sort of colours were popular back then.
Going to be a lot of avocado, isn't there?
Oh, perish the thought.
Luke, out of character, would engineering be the engine room, or is that something completely different?
Engineering, it would be the main. Yeah, I would say so. There would be all your big engines in that are much sort of would be further away. This would be where the crew work to sort of send everything in the right direction needed around the ship. It'd be the heart of the ship.
Okay, cool. So that is where they would want the beacon.
That is where they want the beacon. Yeah,
that's what I could infer. Cool. Thanks.
That's okay.
Okay. Right. So if you're ready to try and take us in, Shay, while you're doing that, I'll run a scan and see if I can pick up anything useful.
Yep, I'll take her in.
Right. Should we do this in turns as we did last time, I guess? So we'll do a Shay turn and then a Misha turn. With
Sure.
Misha deciding whether you want to do anything per turn. So you are currently not in visual range at all. Shay, your skill is, of course, agility. Your mightiest of all the strengths. And you get a +2 for your helm as well.
Okay.
It's very straightforward. Please roll the dice.
Okay, so it's going to be a 6 + 4. That's 10.
Result.
And Carla sort of half looks at you and sort of nods knowingly as you smoothly push the Nakuru around the orbit of the planet. It's a vast planet. You're not seeing much sort of rotation. You're not seeing your world change as you go, but you definitely know that you're moving. All the readouts are going, and you're still not within visual line, but everything's going very nicely so far.
Cool.
Anything at this point, Misha?
I'm tempted to say not yet, not until we're a little bit closer. What kind of range could I begin to detect radiation? I'm thinking in particular, hard ionizing radiation.
Okay. Roll me an education. You can probably add a science to that, I would imagine.
Okay, yep. Education plus science is 3 plus 1 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8.
4 plus 4 is 8. Okay. Going at the speed, if the Argent 3 is indeed where the readout seems to suggest it is, another couple of turns at this sort of pace, and you can probably have a decent scan.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, Shane, make another roll, please.
Okay. Oh dear, a bit less smooth. That's going to be a 7 because I rolled a 1.
Oh. You can't tell quite what it is, but the ship it shakes a little bit. I don't know if you've caught a crab in the old rowing parlance or something. But Carla's cup, which luckily for her is empty, sort of shakes a bit and drops to the floor. She sort of raises half an eyebrow at you. She's like, "Are you all right? Are you,
Just testing.
your testing certainly works.
Checking you're awake.
I certainly am now."
Mm.
As she sort of finishes saying that, though, she sort of looks up at the view, at the view screen. She's like, "Look!" And just sort of around the curve of the planet, you notice just the slightest smear. And you can notice the slightest smear because it's quite large. It's definitely larger than you.
It's larger than us.
Larger than the Nakuru. Not definitely larger than you.
Yeah.
It's Gilly floating in space.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah. So
Okay.
you're within the start of visual range.
Nice.
Do we have external cameras or things we can get an enhanced or expanded visual image?
Oh, you can give it a go. There are such things. They're not magic. They're not like those TV shows where someone just keeps saying enhance, 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 enhance.
Absolutely,
Zoom,
but I'm
zoom.
thinking we might have an astronomical telescope or some kind of visual equipment.
Give it a go. Roll
right.
your if you're happy to take control of that. Mum Rose, oh, yeah, that's a good idea actually. Roll on your intelligence, I'm going to say. That feels right to me.
Don't have intelligence.
Education, sorry.
Education, yep.
Yeah. Unless you want to do it with a wink and a click of your fingers, then you can do it on
charisma. I feel education is more my strength.
Okie dokie. Give it a go.
Is that plus science?
I'll give it science, yeah.
Okay. So that's a total of 4 plus 6, 10.
You zoom it in because, of course, space is it's not like Star Trek where ships are always facing each other. Space is very wonky, I guess. There's a lot of angles in space, and so you have that bit where you zoom in on space where the ship isn't, and then you sort of move. There's a bit of moving around, and you can pick it up. And what you can tell at this point is it is it's large, and it's like its burners at the back. It doesn't appear to be going. It doesn't appear to be doing anything other than staying in orbit. If that makes sense, it's not going under its own power on a meaningful anything really.
Okay, so no immediate sign of like engine thrust or anything.
No.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Shay, roll again, please.
Okay. Oh no, it's another 7.
Misha's looking through at the zoomed-in camera, which immediately gets jolted out into the dark again. It was like, where's it gone? Where's the ship gone? As Carla sort of sees the funny side of things, I guess. And he says, another test. I like it. You're really making sure we're paying attention today, Shay.
Yeah, I haven't had my morning coffee because nobody offered to make one.
Shall I go get you some coffee? Shall I?
No, you're all right.
Despite that, of course, there's nothing really to hit at this height and anything, so you're not in any immediate danger. And as you draw closer, Misha, could you roll me another science with education, please? Just to see if you can get that camera back
certainly. On. That's 4 + 5 is 9.
Okay. You can see much more about the ship now, zoomed in, and I can show you what the exterior looks like if that's helpful for you. And there. This, excuse my poor graphical attempts, is the SS Argent 3. The crew is slightly wrong. My apologies. I meant to write 115. My fault. So it is 115 official crew. With we know it's 40 explorers as well. That's extra. Status retired. Location unknown. It's 1 kilometer long, and it is hundreds of meters deep. And if you look at the bottom, that's not where you are, but that is the scale of the Nakuru next to it.
Right. Thank you. Yes.
It is a large ship, but it's large, long, and it's large, deep. You're like a human swim. You'd be like a human swimming up next to like a blue whale kind of thing, It's that sort of scale. You can tell, and I'll talk you through what you can see, I guess. It's in a bad state of repair. It's got knobbles and bobbles around the outside, old bits of equipment that seem to be, from what you can tell, sort of falling off or missing. There are parts that appear to have gaping holes in the side, or like the interior that's been sort of half pulled out, mangled, mashed. And there appears to be some panels missing as well. So hopefully you can see on the picture. The stuff that's sort of greyish and peeling out outside of the ship is that sort of debris coming out of it.
Yeah.
You've got panels towards like the back, especially, and a bit at the front, and by the bottom wing or whatever, that's sort of a bit torn away. It's not in a good state of repairs. It's got weird green goo, that's sliminess over some parts of it, and it's looking incredibly unhealthy and incredibly old and incredibly quiet.
Okay. Right. If I think I'm close enough now to run the radiation scan, is that right?
You can, yeah. Could you please?
Okay, let's do that while we're still a reasonable distance out, because that's the kind of thing that could hurt us even before we're at docking distance, so to speak.
Okay. Roll me a.
So deal with the threats in the order at which they threaten.
Exactly. There's no threat. There's no threats. Space is a nice, happy place.
It is a nice, happy place.
Could you roll me a science with education, please?
Absolutely. Science with education is +4 total. That's a total of a 7. I rolled a 3.
A 7. Okay. You're not able to get a full readout on it. From what you can tell, it's still safe to approach. That's all you can tell. You're not sort of, it's not, you can tell it's not spiking right now, where you are, at least.
Okay. And then I'd like to sort of call out to Shay and Carla and say, green goo that lives in hard vacuum. We worried about that stuff, guys?
It's not the most reassuring thing I've ever heard.
Carla looks over and says, it's the stories I was told as a kid.
I mean, maybe if you had like a picture book or something we could take a look through.
Oh, I'd have torn all of those up with the fear.
Filling us with confidence here.
Wow, it's what it is. We know what we got to do. Though from the looks of it, at least we don't have to travel far to put the beacon.
That's true.
I'm just putting this out here, but I mean, beacons are radio beacons, right? Sort of communication beacons.
Yeah, they're it works in two ways, I guess. It would tell the location of where it is, but it's also given in a way that tells people, like, if it comes through someone's computer, it's hands off, this is Maitland's, kind of thing,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I mean, technically we're supposed to put the beacon in engineering, but am I the only one who's thinking if we, spot weld it to the outside of the ship, that might be safer?
It appears like you might be the only one that's thinking that bit. or everyone is.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I at the front of ship?
Yeah. You've come back just as you've got to look through at Misha's handiwork of the zoomed in ship.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, it might be safer, but it's not technically what we were told to do. Monroe, how strict are we talking here? We got to do exactly what we're told, or if the practical outcome's the same, we still get 6 months?
Carla smiles. She says, radios. Eddie! Clarkson, you there? Yeah, back the gruff. Yeah. What happened that time? Johnson that used to be on your crew. What happened that time that he went off script with what Maitland said? And Clarkson pauses for a minute. He said, Johnson. He lost his entire pay for that mission and the next mission.
Yeah, I got that impression.
Like, he wasn't kicked out, and they didn't punish him in any other way because time's the biggest punishment out here.
Yeah, I mean, getting kicked out seems like not a bad.
Yeah, everyone would be doing
not
it.
a bad compensation. Yeah, sure. I mean, unless you're talking literal, in which case
kicked out the airlock.
Yeah. I think perhaps we better stick to plan.
Fair point. Can I just check something with you very quickly, Luke?
You can check something with me very quickly.
That sort of right-hand side of the ship.
Yes.
Just after it stops being vaguely pyramidal and becomes more square.
Yes.
There's a little spiggoty thing pointing downwards, is that the umbilical?
That is
Directly above where it says SS.
That is an umbilical. There appears to be something on the end of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Just one, I'm sort of, in the back of my mind, I'm wondering if we want to be aiming for the emergency airlock or the umbilical. Maybe we could get close enough to take a good look at the options and see what they look like.
Yeah, I agree. See which is the safer option to bring her about.
Yeah.
Monroe, did you pick up any other ships? Do you know what that is attached? I don't suppose we know yet, do we?
No, I've not heard of
Realistically,
anything else.
we're too far out.
It looks little, to be honest. Goodness knows, I don't know. Transporter, escape pod, don't know. Looks small though.
Okay.
A ship full of evil goo, intent on killing all humans. Maybe. Sort of,
Probably.
Okay. Shay, you go ride closer then? Is that the plan?
Yep.
Yep. Go on, give us a roll
Let's
then.
give it a go.
Give us a roll. Kyla holds on. You can see
Oh,
her knuckles whiten a little bit on her seat.
why are you panicking? I've got a 10.
Ah, that's much
Oh, she visibly relaxes, sort of leans back a little bit, and the hands come up and sort of onto sort of her chest, like steepling motion. So, yes, as you smoothly glide towards the ship, and what I'll say at this point is you've reached close enough, and I think we're not going to make any rolls on going closer. Once we've looked at what Misha's doing, then you guys can discuss what you're doing around the ship, I guess, if that makes sense. You'll then be in close proximity. Is there anything you want to do before you get into very close proximity, Misha?
Yeah, there are a few things, if you don't mind. I'd like to see if there's any kind of biological scan I can do on the green goo, please. And then I'd like to take a look at close-up images of both the outside of the emergency airlock and the umbilical.
Okay. Let's do the goo first then. Science and education, please.
Okay. That is a 6 + 4 is a 10.
From you sort of what you can tell, you run it against. You haven't taken a sample, of course, so you can only run visual and sort of background news on it against known stuff. It's unknown origin. It's not in the banks of anyone that's come across.
I'll report that to everyone as soon as I get the information and say, apparently we've won some free goo, but we don't know what it is. Yeah. Okay. And then I shall turn those visual camera things onto the exterior of the airlock and the umbilical. Just give us some idea of what looks safest, what looks to be in good nick, that kind of thing.
Science and education, please.
Aha. I don't have to look those up anymore now. I've done this one so many times.
It's your raison d'être.
That's a 2 + 4 is a 6.
So it's 6. Okay. Starting with and I'll get the interior up so we can have a better look at there. Starting with the emergency airlock, it looks like, looking over the rest of the ship and the different states of repair and how decent it is, the emergency airlock looks okay. And directly around it looks undamaged.
Okay.
It looks a little bit dated, if that makes sense, a bit old school, but it looks okay.
Sure.
The umbilical, but looks, the umbilical appears to be in working order from the outside. There doesn't appear to be rips, visible rips or anything. What is attached is a small shuttlecraft of human design.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Shay initially, I think, and say, you know more about the actual connectivity of starships than the rest of us. That shuttlecraft on the end, is that going to basically block the place we need to hook on?
Is it, Luke?
From your knowledge of helmsmanship, should we roll something for
Oh,
you?
let's see if I know this.
Let's do an education and helm.
Education is a 2 and helm is 2, so 3 plus what? That's 7.
7. Okay. You could try and bump it away, but goodness knows what damage you'll do in that. That's all you'll know for a 7.
Okay.
You can't get in the umbilical while that's there.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, I could try and nudge it, but
You certainly
I'd
could.
much rather probably go with the emergency airlock.
I think that sounds like a good call.
And it's
I mean,
nearer
I'm
to
not an expert in
engineering.
these things, but I'm feeling collision in space is probably something to be avoided if possible.
Yeah, let's not play bumper cars today.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted some.
Don't want to lose my no claims bonus.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, to be fair, emergency airlock sounds like it's pretty close to the engineering room anyway. So
Yeah.
that's probably where we should start.
Okay then.
Sound okay to you, Liam?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I just want to check something first, and he'll quickly run over to the comms station and look. Can I just see if there's either any like emergency hail or any other salvage beacon signal coming from the ship? Either of the ships, I guess.
I will give you an education with liaison, please.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's a 6 plus 6. Is it 12?
Whatever pinged something off to the ship when that Kara spotted is not doing it now. There appears to be no response. There appears to be no attempt at communication. That power looks low overall. It's not all gleaming and flashing around like a modern starship or anything, but it's very quiet, eerily quiet from your end.
Okay, cool. He'll say there's nothing coming from it. There's certainly no other salvage beacons, so I think we're good to go. Although it is a little quiet for a ship, but it's old, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, it all sounds good to me. Let's unless there's anything else anyone wants to do.
I mean, maybe if it's theoretically possible that though we can see them, they don't know we're here, so it might be worth trying to hail them. See if anyone actually responds from inside the ship.
Yeah.
I suppose that would be my job. Well, if I have to. And I'll try and send out a message to. Does it have to be specific, or will it just cast out into space to either vessel?
I don't know. Give me what message do you want to give? Give me the message.
Aren't 3 Anthrey or unknown shuttle. This is the Nakuru approaching for salvage, unless otherwise instructed by yourselves.
Roll a liaison with charisma.
That's a 4 + 4 is an 8.
Okay, you know the message has left the Nakuru. You just hear a crackle of static. That's it. Nothing. No response. It doesn't go in. It's got to the ship, but there's nothing.
Okay. He'll wait a couple of minutes and then just no response, just some white noise. They definitely got it though.
Okay. Without wishing to state the obvious, I think it might be time to suit up. The quicker we get over there, the quicker we get back and leave this place and all of its green goo.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Silly question. What are the protocols for, like, if we get contaminants on our suits? Do we know that stuff?
It's not been told to you. I would imagine Evan knows the process because he's the ship's Sam, but you don't know what the process is.
Okay, so if it's okay, can I'd like to find out from Evan what happens if there's potential contamination. So I'm going to ask Liam to ask him.
Coward.
Any contamination? That's all you want to know?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
if we come back covered in green goo, what happens? I mean, they won't necessarily want to let us back on the ship in our spacesuits, and it's not like we can take them off outside.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, makes sense.
It might be company policy to make you take the spacesuits off outside.
I shall go find Evan. Evan? Hello?
Are you hailing him or going to him?
I'll go to him.
Ah, excellent. Right, I'm going to bring this up because then I can talk you through the process, I guess. So you head down to security. Clarson's nowhere to be seen, but the weapons are gone. Do you get down? Exact. Jareel knows. Yeah, it's like Jareel's talking for Evan. I'll just pass over to Jareel to do it. Oh, I wish I had the guts to say that's what it was as well. How you doing, Jareel? I hope you're doing okay, by the way. Thanks for joining us. Evan sort of, as the door opens, he sort of looks up. Ah, Deturi. How can I help you? I assume you've come for me. Clarson's not here at the minute.
Is he preparing for the mission?
If you mean by eating and drinking some coffee, then yes, he's preparing.
That's exactly what I meant. Yes, I did come to talk to you. In fact, Misha sent me.
How is Renkov?
Very, very well, thank you. They send their regards.
I'll send my
they're
back
just.
to him.
I shall. I think they're just preparing for their mission as well. They wanted to know. I think there's some something gooey on the Ardent. They wanted to know the procedure for contamination, specifically on personnel and re-entering the ship here.
An interesting protocol indeed. Depending on the situation, any crew remaining on board the ship will remain towards the front of the ship. I myself will take control of decontamination, as I am. Let's just say I can't decontaminate it. Uncontaminatable.
That's exactly
you
what I knew you were going to say that.
You humans have such a wonderful way of words. I'm trying to learn your ways. If, for example, you'll be pleased to hear that Maitland stopped leaving people in space if contaminated 20 years ago. They've become much more friendly since then. Anyone who is suspected of coming into contact with contaminants will be allowed into the airlock, which will then go through an initial spraying process, a decontamination process for 2 hours. That's stage one. After that, if you remember the layout of the ship, they will be allowed out, but only be allowed out to all doors will be sealed. They will only be allowed to the crew section. They will have access between the airlock corridor and the crew section.
Mm-hmm.
And if long sleep is required, will be required to crawl through to long sleep 2. I will be on hand to provide food and my own brand of entertainment.
Rankoff will be very pleased to hear about the crawling through to long sleep 2 and that you'll be around to help.
I feel like I've already been on this ride somehow.
Ah, yes, Rankoff knows it well. He's been
Indeed.
Anyone else who is not contaminated, who did not come into touch, will be kept, of course, in the important parts of the ship that are needed: the bridge, medical, the mess, security, and long sleep 1, of course. And I will bring some medical supplies down to the crew quarters, and then I track you during then and during long sleep 2. And you would not be allowed off long sleep 2. You will not be woken up at the other end until a medical team is on board. That would be the process.
What about if there's not the need for long sleep? Do they just stay in that area of the ship indefinitely until we can get a full medical team?
Yes, between airlock and crew quarters, you could have you can walk up and down the corridor for your exercise.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks, Evan. We'll let you know how it goes. And I'll leave and I'll get on the radio and say, Rankoff Hawkins, I've just spoken to Evan. You'll be pleased to know that it's new procedure, although relatively new from last week. They stopped leaving people outside the ship if they've been contaminated. You're now allowed inside the airlock, and there's a two-stage process. Evan will basically take care of your needs. He's should you be contaminated, he's uncontaminatable. So you will be confined to the airlock, and then after an amount of time, you'll be released out of the airlock and confined to the crew area and the airlock and that corridor. The rest of the crew will be in the front of the ship, and he'll carry on and relay the rest of the information accurately.
Okay.
Quality time with Evan.
It sounds like you'll have Evan all to yourself. until a medical team can give you the once over. At least it's not Evan giving you the once over though. Hey,
yeah.
He's uncontaminatable.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Liam. I feel so much better.
I think we're just let's try and stay away from the green goo. Hey, it's probably the safest option.
Right. Sorry, because I need to fit this in before Liam does anything else. If you excuse, because while Liam is out and is sort of has gone to Evan and is walking back, the ship, the Nakuru sort of is drawing alongside the Argent 3, and Carla and Shay and Misha are at the front, and they can look through the view screen, and the vastness of it, the ragged, eerie vastness looms alongside them, to the front, to the back, above and below them, and there's just that unshakable sense of just unease, I guess. And I need the two of you who are looking through the window at this time. You need to make for me a pressure throw, because for all the sort of the professionalism and joking, there always that time, where you just get that sense when your blood run cold and a shiver runs down your spine.
Right, so that's Shay and me, is it?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
A pressure roll for people is about mental stress, I guess, for those viewers and for you guys as well. Your pressure bonus is your strength plus your education.
Yep.
So I guess how physically and mentally strong you are, I guess, is the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You need to roll a 1d6 and add it to those two.
Yep. Okay, so pressure bonus, it's actually marked as pressure bonus on my character sheet, believe it or not, with 7.
There you go. It's like it was made properly for the game.
5 plus 7 is 12.
Okay.
Nice. 5 plus 3, 8.
Okay, Misha, it floods over you, but you're able to shake it off. I think because running through your mind is the thought of all the different things that need to be done, and the numbers and the thoughts, and you're able to shake it off. Shay, you can't shake it, and the pressure starts to get to you, and you get that everything's not right here feeling that runs through you that you just can't shake. You need to increase your pressure level by 1, please.
Okay.
What is your pressure level now?
Is it 2?
2. Okay. I need you to roll a d6, please.
Okay. A 4.
4. Okay, you're okay at this point. So for people that are watching, if the pressure gets too high, you can have an episode which will put you into shock or something like that and cut down what you're available to do. At this time, you are you just feel uneasy. Okay, but that pressure level stays at 2 for now, and can only go up. It can only go down with long sleep. So
okay,
so be aware of that. Okay. So sorry, Liam. I just need to do that before you came back in, because
that's all right.
You jumped out just as I was about to do one of those pressure rolls. So okay.
I'll say at the end of the message, I'm gonna head to the airlock and start getting ready. Just to avoid any crowded situations or any more knocks to the head, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll see her in, and then I'll come and suit up.
Okay. So where are you taking the Nakuru to, Shay?
The airlock.
Okie dokie. I need you to roll for me helm plus. First of all, let's say agility. You will need to make 2 rolls for me, but helm and agility for me first, please.
So it's 6 and 4. That's 10.
10. Okay, you bring the Nakuru round nicely. You've come up from this side of the ship, and of course you need to rotate it around, because of course the airlock is on the other side of the Nakuru, so there's a bit of rotating around. You do see, you come within 50, 60 meters of the shuttle, so it takes some skill. You can see it's a 10-meter long shuttle, very classic for transporting people to and from planets or other ships. It looks in decent nick, much better nick than the ship, to be honest. And as you rotate the ship around, which you do very well, it must be said, like Carla, who, the same as you guys, has gone very quiet over the vibe of the thing, still coos like that's really good. That's perfect. As you rotate the Nakuru round for the airlock, I need you to please roll for me a flat education roll, please, because you don't have science, do you?
Nope. So that's 2 + 4, that's 6.
Okay. There is no way that the Nakuru can connect directly to the airlock.
Okay.
That's all you know.
Okay. There's no way I'm going to be able to connect the ship to that. No way.
Okay. So we can climb out of the airlock and hurl ourselves across the void.
Doesn't sound appealing right now, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or
could try the umbilical.
we could try the umbilical, but we can't dock there either unless we're willing to shift the escape pod or the shuttle. And we can't do that without either banging into it or, again, climbing out and flying across to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to say, if we're going to have to fly across the void to somewhere, let's fly across the void to the emergency airlock rather than the umbilical, because if we get there and we can't dislodge the shuttle, then we're at a dead end, basically, aren't we?
Yeah.
What do you think? You think we can get close enough so that we'll be able to attach 2 of those tethers to us? One hooked on our ship, on the Nakuru, then hurl ourselves across and attach another one to the outside of the Argent.
Could be a good idea. Can we, Luke?
So you can see how close you can get to the airlock.
Yeah.
So that there's a lot of stuff on the ship. Let's put it that way. You've got your cables, you got your suits. But yeah, if you want to see how close you can get, that might inform your process, I suppose.
Yes. If we can tuck into within a cable's length, basically.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a reasonably safe-ish operation, as safe as anything gets.
Okay. What we're going to do, Shay, is you and Carla, she's elsewhere. You and Carla are going to work together. As navigator, she's almost going to be like, telling you left a bit, right a bit, doing high quality navigation work. And you're going to thread that needle, okay? So I'll roll for her ability and you first. So Carla goes very serious. She's a high quality navigator, it must be said. I need you to roll your helm plus your agility, please.
Okay. 6 + 3, that's 9.
Okay. Okay. 9. Okay. Carla calls it pretty well. There's a point where you almost think you're going straight into the jutty out wing bit to the south, just by the airlock. But through your skills, you manage to pull it back and straighten it in. And when all is said and done, you are left tucked in to the ship about 4 meters away.
Okay. It's about as close as I can get it, guys.
I think that's a cracking job. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
That should be easily close enough to be within tether range.
This is not my first rodeo.
Okay. Yeah, good. Now don't forget where we parked. Make down a note of the, the car park number, the batch
Mm.
Blue 2, I believe, is where you
Yeah.
are.
Okay. I can't think of anything to do now beyond head to the airlock.
Suit up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
As always, Carla will stay at the computers. Of course, she's going to be relaying things through, working as sort of the middle manager, I suppose, in it all, as is her want. As you walk down towards it, Eddie walks out into the corridor beside you, chugs his the remnants of his coffee down. And he says, "If you want to grab anything to eat or drink now, now's the time. Otherwise, we're going."
Yeah, I might take a brief swig of some liquid and a bite of food actually before we set off, because you never know how long it's going to take. And obviously I'll take the handgun for making sure that I'll have it on the outside of my suit when we get there.
Yep, Clarson's happy for you to have the gun. He's got his serious. Well, he's always got a serious face on, but he's after he suggested the food, he just walks straight off, gives you the gun, walks straight off around to the airlock to join Liam in there.
I'm feeling a bit queasy because something about this just does not seem right. So I will forgo the food, but I will have a little drink. Something strong.
Yeah, now that Mish is in the process of sorting out drinks, suddenly Shay will have
oh
one.
yeah, certainly.
Well, if you're making one, I suppose it'd be rude not to.
Classic.
Yes, clearly the way to go. Yep.
Whilst I've been there, Luke,
Yeah.
if I've had time, can I get that box that hit me on the head and use some of those spare tethers to tether the beacon to my suit?
You can. Could you please roll an agility for me, please?
Oh dear. Yeah. Am I liaising two things?
Well, I don't
Can
know.
I use science?
No, not really.
Not on a tether. That's a 5 plus 1 is a 6.
Lucky it was an easy check. It looks like it holds. You tug it, and it doesn't fall off. That's a win, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Cool, thanks.
Okay. As you finish that up, Clarkson enters in. He starts suiting up. He sort of looks at you with the beacon. You found the beacon all right then? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't checked inside. I assume that everything is labelled as it should be.
Yeah, we check everything when we before you guys came aboard, and everything was fine then.
Yeah, I got that impression from watching you with the firearms.
Yeah, you got to make sure things are okay. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes your life depends on it. Yeah, he sort of pulls his suit on, and it's the first time you notice that when he does pull a suit on, he does sort of check a bit more than most people would.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just as he's sort of pulling against it to make sure that no gaps are opening up or anything. He puts his webbing on for his shotgun, and he sort of grabs a couple of, like if you've had the bags of supplies and things you can take with you, the tools, he just sort of grabs one of the little bags and attaches it to him. Grabs a couple of the cables and connects himself ready.
Cool. As Misha enters, if we're close to that point.
Mhm.
Daturi will just say, I forgot to mention earlier that Evans says to send their regards. I don't know what they meant. That's all they said.
Oh, thanks. It's so nice that he keeps thinking of me.
Yeah, it was sort of out of nowhere as well. Unusual.
Yeah,
So sweet.
yeah, yes. I wonder, do those things get like completely reprogrammed if you wave a magnet over them?
Clarson, you hear a laugh coming from Clarson's helmet, actually. He says, you wish.
Okay, well, if I make Clarson chuckle, my work here is done. Let's get suited up.
Cool. I'm not going to make you roll for it. You've put the suits on. Well, Shay's put it on a couple of times now.
Mm.
Shay's adept generally, quite frankly. Misha's okay at it as well, and everything looks good. Everything seems fine. You've got the clips which are clipped in, of course, and you are all in the airlock. If you are happy to press the button for it to decompress or whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But the door is now shut, and there's one door between you and infinity.
Yeah, once we've sort of checked each other's suits, made sure everything's attached properly, you know. Make sure we've all got tethers associated with us, and we're still, we're actually pegged down inside the airlock before we blow it. And then, say, on my mark, hit the button.
Boof. You feel that pressure immediately sucked out the room, and you feel your weight lifting. There's sort of a movement in your chest. I guess it sort of closes and then opens again, even in your suit, and your feet start lifting up from the ground, and your helmets will flash. You know that everything's okay. Oxygen levels are fine, 100% on each of them, which is good. That's good news, especially for Shay, who's got previous. And you've repressurized, well, you pressurize, so there's no pressure. You're at one with the universe, but the door is still shut at this point.
Good. Ready?
Yep, let's do it.
It's all over me.
Okay. We'll punch the door open button and see what's on the other side, other than, big ship and airlock.
The door, you punch it in, the door opens, and you just get that moment of, again, being a small thing in a very large, a very, very large expanse. And across from you, about four meters, as said, is the emergency airlock of the Argent 3. Just a small. Once you're there, you just notice that it is an airlock with 50 meters above it of ship and 200 meters below it of ship, and just that corner of ship and ship is there. And Shay has done an excellent job, quite frankly, to get you to where you are.
Yes.
And there it is, the airlock. I want you all to make a pressure roll, please.
Yep. That's a 1 plus 7, 8.
8. Just double check my pressure. That is 8. Okay, I'll sit on that for a minute. Liam and Shay.
That's a 7 for me. 5 plus 2.
Okay, and
Mine's a 3 plus 7. It's a 10.
okay. As it opens and you look across, Liam, you you're focused on the task ahead, I guess. You've been the one who's had to go out there um, with the ropes before. You've been the one that scaled around the Nakuri the most, that's made a rescue, that has sort of lost one of your your ropes and still done it. Yeah. To you, you also didn't catch that sheer scale of the ship as you approached, and so for you, you can remain focused on what you're doing. As for the other two, there's just that moment. Shay, through your mind flashes the experience on the outside the Nakiri the last time. You get that flash of this being stranded on the top, and sort of that metal and things flying and the oxygen counting down. Like when that oxygen flashed up in your head, even though it said perfect, you get that moment of just that being such a tiny person, such a delicate person next to a big thing. I need you to increase your pressure by 1, please.
Oh, I'm starting to feel it now.
And as you sort of do that, you look across at Misha, whose eyes seem to have widened. And for everything that science can prepare you for, you still, it almost makes you more realise your own mortality, I guess. Looking across at like a foreign airlock, it is something that you've not, it's 100-year-old technology, a man of science, 100-year-old technology. And you have that thought like, are we going to be able to do this? Are we prepared enough? Do I have the skills? Am I going to let my team down? That sort of thing. You're the engineer, you're the scientist,
Mm.
and I need your pressure to go up 1, please.
Yep.
What is your pressure at, Ben?
2.
2. Okay, so Misha, I need you to roll for me, please. I need you to roll a 1d6.
That's a 3.
Okay. You managed to swallow it down at this point,
Okay.
but it's still very much sitting with you like, can I do what's needed of me? Am I up to the task? What are we going to see that other side? What is that goo? What, is everything going to be? Of course, everything's going to be old. Can we get through the doors? All that sort of comes rushing to you at that point. Shay, can you roll a 1d6, please?
Yep. That's a 4.
4. Okay. And what did you say your level was?
3.
A 3. Okay. What I need you to do is you have a moment where you start shaking, and you can't stop the shake. That moment where you just, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
What I need you to do, I need you to reduce your agility by 1 for now. It's not going to be forever, but it needs to be for now. So it's almost like like the simple task of clicking and unclicking. You fumble it twice. You're just you have that moment. And as the 3 of you are there staring out over this 150-year-old airlock with a 150-year-old fast ship behind, the goo, the non-answering of anything, that's where we're going to end for tonight.
But of course it is.
Of course we are.
I should have known you'd do that after last night. Yes, of course you did.
Wattle and Daub ship, yeah. Oh. 'Tis a fine ship. Sails well. So yeah, first of all, thank you everyone for watching. Do appreciate it. Thank you for those that stayed and hung out with us. We do really appreciate it. And Gillian, Ewan, throw in the bits, love. We love it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone for coming along and watching. I hope you've had fun. It's been weird and creepy for us too.
That's what it's all about. You're not even on board the ship yet. Imagine how much worse it's going to get for you. Or maybe it's just a lovely ship. They're all a bunch of hippies in there. Hand you around the peace pipe and invite you to stay forever and ever and ever
The problem is, I'm sort of cursed by having seen every horror movie ever made. So every possible scenario that this could be is going through my head right now, and none of them end well.
And you're going to have to sit on that for 5 or 6 weeks or however long it is until the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, everybody. That was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Lily,
thanks for
joining
having
us.
me, guys.
And thanks.
Again.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure having you. Let's work out a date to do it in the not too distant future. Find out what's on board this ship.
Or not. Not on board the ship. Not do it in the future.
They could have been transporting 40 Evans. Oh, that would be amazing. I think I might write it. I might change the storyline. It's now got 40 Evans on there.
Misha's dream.
that have a hive mind to your Evan.
Yeah, there's a crew of 155 people, all Evan.
All Evan.
That's a good adventure. Okay.
The Evan channel, all Evan all the time.
All Evan
Yes.
all the time. Exactly. Cool. So thank you everyone for watching. Tomorrow night is Hellblade. Another cheery jaunt. So it's a spooky Sunday, so late UK time, 11:45 PM. A bit better for the Americans. We'll play through the next bit of Hellblade, and then you can all have a few days off from us, and we'll come back next week for more sci-fi. Brand new game on Thursday. Have you finished writing your behind the screens yet, Ben?
No, it won't be for this week. I think it'll be for next week. I think.
Cool, groovy. So we'll have a brand new Luke Plays on Thursday, and then we'll do a behind the screens coming up soon. Fantastic. 11 Evans. Yeah, that could be a fine chant. I think we should all chant that. Cool. Right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us, and have a lovely Sunday.
Thank you.
Goodbye. May Evan be with you.